Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Steve Schneider. I'm the general manager here at Eastman, and I'm joined by
Bill Matson, and I'm the president of the ECA board.
So this afternoon, we're just going to take a few minutes and talk about what it means to serve on the board and time commitments that may involve, and just kind of reasons why you may think serving on the board is a good idea. So, Bill, if you can just kind of share what brought you to the board.
Well, we were fortunate enough to move to Eastman about 9 years ago. And when we did, I became friends with people who were serving in a variety of different capacities here in the community. And they were quick to remind me that the good things that we experience here don't happen by accident. They happen because people give their time and their talent. And over a few drinks, they twisted my arm, and the rest is history.
Fair enough. So maybe you can describe for folks that are considering being on the board, kind of the time commitment that it takes. So I know we tease about an over/under at our meetings, but just kind of your experience in terms of time commitment.
Yeah, well, Steve and I actually have an ongoing bet for every board meeting as to how long they'll last. That's the over/under that he references. The typical board meeting runs between 2 and 3 hours, and it's once a month. Above and beyond that, there are committee responsibilities and work as liaisons out into the community. So you can actually spend as much time as you'd like, but I think it's fair to say that for the typical person, you're looking at about 10 to 20 hours a month in terms of your board responsibilities.
Okay, fair enough. And certainly the advent of Zoom has made meetings and just being present at meetings easier. And we've had folks dial in from all over the country and still be able to participate fully as a board member, which I think is adds some flexibility to it.
Right. We spent a lot of time actually, as a new board is assembled, trying to think about what makes the most sense in terms of people being able to attend. Once upon a time, the board used to meet on Saturday mornings, which was great for some people, but if you have kids that are in sports or other activities, didn't work so well. The board used to meet early in the morning on weekdays. If you've got a job, that didn't work so well. Right now, we've been meeting at 5 o'clock every third Wednesday of the month. That seems to work better. But again, for each board, the first priority is to get people who have talent, who are willing to serve. And then we look to try and come up with a schedule that makes sense for them as to how we do the business that needs to be done in the community.
Sounds good.
So, Steve, you've been here for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And you are fortunate enough to work with the board. I hope you feel that way sometimes, at least. What does the board do for you? How does it help you and the staff and what you're trying to get done?
First and foremost, the board is incredibly supportive of staff and their perspective and the expertise that they bring. And so that has been incredibly supportive and useful and helpful as we go about doing the things that we need to do to make sure that Eastman is running on all cylinders. Eastman is a community that's filled with incredibly successful people, and they bring all kinds of great different expertise and backgrounds to the board. And that helps us as a community, as an organization, in setting our strategic priorities as we kind of move from year to year. It's just, from my perspective, one of the true assets of Eastman is just kind of that volunteer base that we have here to draw upon.
So with that volunteer base and thinking about what's ahead, what do you see as some of the big priorities? What's the work that still needs to be done?
Well, there's always work to be done.
Well, I don't know. When I got ready to run for my second term, I told my wife that, the big things were behind us. We had the maintenance center done, and then came Ken's retirement and a new restaurant vendor and COVID. So we always have to be careful to make people know that there always are more things.
Yeah. So there are several kind of overarching groups that are out there working. We've got the Rec Task Force that's developing a large strategic plan for recreation, both programming and facilities for the community. Eastman was founded on a conservation principle, and the work that our committees are doing and the work that staff is doing to kind of make sure that our watershed is operating and being healthy is going to be work that we do for years and years to come. There are always kind of the larger capital planning issues that CIC is working through right now that I think will help us in the long term. So there's always work to do.
Yeah, I think we're fortunate to be in a community where things are in pretty good shape financially and otherwise. But as you point out, there are always lots of challenges still ahead. If I look back on my time here, I've been on the board for 6 years. I've enjoyed almost every moment of it. There have been a few days when you want to pull out your hair, and that may be, I had more hair when I started.
Me too.
But the one thing I've found is it is great to be able to serve with a group of people who are pretty smart and very talented. There's a lot of different perspectives, which when we think about folks running for the board, and part of this is to encourage people to consider doing so, the more perspectives we have on the board, the better we're able to represent the community. And we're coming up on a election cycle where 2 longstanding board members, myself and Rick Karish, time out. There are term limits, which is a good thing to get additional perspectives brought in. But we're taking with us 12 years of experience. So we very much hope that people will strongly consider how they can help continue the traditions that have made this community great for 50 years. So with that, we'll go ahead and sign off from here in the center. And thank you all for taking a look.
Thank you.